This is Charlie Parsons for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Eddie, we're back. I didn't think I'd have you this soon, but obviously they shouted me, little Jr-Benn media trip. Obviously Parsons had to be there. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I'm going to give you a little bit of encouragement, Parsons. I've actually been watching your interviews. I think you're quite good. I mean, how old are you, 19? I respect it. I think you're quite decent. Watched a couple of your interviews the other day. Not bad. Terrible clobber still. I know you're wearing your mate's hoodie and you got something on that looks like you've been in Celebrity SAS. Don't know what they are.
These are just cargos, bit poor. Yeah.
Terrible. But apparently they're popular. As I said to you, you're big in your hometown. And you said to me, I said, where is that? And you said Cirencester. I was like, who lives in Cirencester? I've only ever seen it on road signs. What goes on there?
Not much, to be honest, hence why I spend half my life travelling on train.
Hence why you're a player in Cirencester.
The boy. Right, moving on. We're here. Oh, I think we're a little bit short for time, but I'm going to squeeze you whatever. Look, let's just go straight into it. Tyson Fury's come out today. I spoke to Frank Smith last night. It seemed that he didn't say explicitly that all the Fury AJ stuff was done, but it seemed like it was done. And then this morning, Tyson Fury comes out and says, look, we're back.
Yeah. We're slightly baffled, but I don't want to really talk too negatively because the process has been okay, in all honesty. Like, a lot of what Tyson Fury says is not true. So just to give you the truth, when we agreed terms, we waited, say, 8 or 9 days for a contract to come through, which is okay. It's a big fight. The contract was all over the place, and all of last week we spoke to Queensberry every day to try and get it in the right place. This Monday, just gone, we sent them a final version of the contract, and Tyson Fury came out and said, fight's off, I'm not fighting Anthony Joshua. Okay, so kind of like semi-down tools. Tuesday, George Warren came on and said, look, let me try and speak to him, let's keep working away. We're like, okay. And then yesterday afternoon, George Warren said, here's our comments on your final version, which again is fine. This happens. I mean, this fight, we're here for the Jr-Benn Eubank fight. I would say this fight, from the first draft of the contract, took 2.5 months to sign. So, anyway, we haven't had the contract for 14 days, by the way. That's not true either. But again, last night at midnight, I spoke to George Warren, and he said, look, let me speak to Tyson Fury, see if I can try and get him back in a fight. Didn't hear anything other than a post on Instagram today to say, sign a contract today, otherwise it's off again. So we've got the comments from Queensberry on a contract. We're going to go back on that today. It's 100% not getting signed today, as I told you. No one's asking us or putting pressure on us to sign the contract on these given days, other than Tyson Fury's Instagram account. So we're going through the process. I don't know what to believe. He's agreed fights with Manuel Char. He's now offered Derek Chisora to fight again. Yeah. And, like, I've no idea. I worried all along that this is just a process that will see him go, guys, I did everything I can, and there's no one else to fight, so I'm going to fight X. Right? I truly believe Queensberry want to make the fight. The process has been great with them. That's one positive that's come out of everything. I guess he'll come out again in a couple of hours and go, you DOSSERs, it's off again. But we'll carry on until we're told that it can't get made anymore. And, you know, it's frustrating. And like I said, that I can't say anything negatively about the process. And I don't think Queensberry can either, in all honesty. So, we'll see.
If I asked you for a gut feeling, are we leaning towards this? I mean, it's difficult because we've been speaking about this fight for so long.
When you've got someone who, like, we accepted all terms. Don't forget as well, people forget, we signed for this fight, 10 months ago, whenever it was, right? And he pulled out the fight because of the arbitration, no problem. But we've already signed for this fight in a completely different contractual format of a buyout in the Middle East. Right, so we have had to accept terms for this fight that we don't necessarily agree on, but I don't think they're unfair. We didn't really like the date, but we were told if you don't take that date, the fight's off. So AJ even accepted a date that really didn't give him a chance to recover and get in camp, but we're doing it, and he's up for it. So now we've got to go through the process of actually making sure that commercially the deal is right. And again, I don't think anyone will moan about the process other than Tyson Fury. So Do I believe this fight will happen? I have absolutely no idea at the moment because he's capable of doing anything.
How are the cross-platform talks between BT and DAZN? They said that the fight would be a cross-promotion, which was something that was sort of up in the air at first. In terms of broadcasting-wise, and also on DAZN's side of things, because it's on smart TVs and apps and etc., etc., if that is a cross-platform, do you also worry that people go to BT, which is on their telly box?
Because the revenue will be in a pool and those guys will sort it out themselves. Fury said all the broadcast deals are done. Well, one, no, they're not, and two, we've not even been involved in those discussions. So how can they be done when we're a stakeholder in the show? This is what I'm talking about. We have to be involved in discussions, and at the moment, Queensberry have the final say on all deals. We can't allow that with AJ's existing commercial contracts. So, and they know that as well. So we're just going through a process, and I honestly don't know. I felt all along that this would play out this way, but we haven't stopped. Even when we were told the fight was off on Monday, we carried on. And I've got 4 or 5 people working on this round the clock that I could really have them putting their time into something else that is going to happen. So no one's messing around here, but there is a process to go through, and hopefully he'll wait around for that process.
What opponents and arena are you looking at for Dillian White's return on the 26th?
Similar to the kind of opponents that he was going to fight before Tyson Fury.
So Wallin's name's been thrown.
Jermaine Franklin, even Dempsey McKean. See, he's got a fight coming up in Australia. Chris Ariola, those kind of levels. I think he's got to come back in a real fight. Teamed up with Buddy McGirt now, and we'll be working to try and get Dillian's fight up and running in the next few days.
O2's booked that night. Boxer are going to Ali Pali with Richard Briakpour. Where does that leave you? Is it the OVO Wembley?
Yes.
That's more than Frank told me, so I appreciate that. Yeah, he wouldn't give that one away. Then Eubank Jr, Ben, that's why we're here today. I kept asking Conor about the magnitude of the fight, and not that he didn't like it, but it was almost like he sees it as any other fight where he's getting in the ring and he's seeing it as he's got to get them out of there. Just on your side of things, it is massive, there's no denying it. I said the final word ahead of this mega fight. It is a mega fight, it's pay-per-view, we've got broadcasts on BBC One. How excited are you now?
It's massive. I mean, like you said, Friday night, the day before the fight, primetime BBC, a huge documentary about the fight. This fight appeals to so many different generations. Granddads that watched the original fight, fathers, and now the younger generation that are watching these two flourish. I don't think there's many people in a country that won't know this fight's happening and won't be tuned in. And it's a massive fight for DAZN. And I think it's a tremendous fight as well. I think Conor's in great shape. Of course, the disadvantage is his size going into this fight, but he's sitting there now at 163 pounds, looking like he's ready to make championship weight at welterweight. So he's ready.
Jake Paul, on that fiasco, obviously on Saturday night we caught up, your lawyer had come out and said it's up to $100 million. Is there any more on that saga? Have you spoke to anyone from Jake Paul's team?
We've filed the lawsuit and it's up to them to respond to that. So there's a few other things that I'm hearing as well floating around, and he shouldn't have said it. And if you're going to say things like that are going to have a monumental effect on people's lives and businesses, you have to be prepared to deal with the consequences.
Already said categorically Callum Smith won't fight Josh Buatsi. It was something that was up in the air. On your side now, what is next for these guys? Because Callum Smith, who knows with Beterbiev, whether it'll be Yard, Smith, whatever, he won't want to sit around forever. Buatsi is a good fight. And then also for Josh Buatsi, if that Callum Smith fight isn't made, are we looking at the Joe Smith Jr, the Marcus Brown?
I like the Joe Smith fight for both Callum Smith and Joshua Buatsi. Look, everybody wants to fight for a world title, but sometimes it's not available right now. So sometimes the biggest fight out there for the most amount of money appeals to those guys. That probably is Callum against Buatsi, but Callum is, he's got his mind set on that world championship, and so is Josh and Joe Smith Jr, Yard, all these guys in the mix. I'm sure we'll make great fights with both of them.
Just finally from me, it really will be the final one on the whole Fury Char front. We've seen Char come out and say Anthony Joshua, and today he's calling Fury a duck.
But Parsons, right? Where is Manuel Char? He's not even ranked as a heavyweight.
Worried that the WBC will put him into the top 15 for that fight.
Of course they will. But also, okay, if you really tried that hard with the AJ fight and unfortunately it couldn't happen, there's a lot of people out there you could fight above Manuel Char. Joe Joyce being one of them. Same promoter, Joe Joyce would jump at that fight. It's a tremendous fight. But I guess no one will put that kind of pressure on Tyson Fury because it's just a hall pass, isn't it?
Eddie Hearn, thank you very much for your time.